buddy, drink to start off with, you know, fucking good stuff, good stuff. I have acquired myself a new pew. This is G&G Batto, I don't know how the hell the Japanese fellas pronounce it, but it is very pretty. It is very pretty. Got it from ASGC here in New Zealand, and it's like $420 odd on the 10% Black Friday special, which is not really a Black Friday special, but whatever. But so far from what I have seen with this thing is you get a lot of gun for your money. And it does the thing! Oh, it does the thing! This thing is really fancy. This is not the stock that comes with it. It comes with just a plain crane stock. The only reason why I went with the shorter PDW one was because the PDW comes with this grip, and I think this grip looks hell of a lot nice than the last version of the grips that they G&G make. So I don't actually know why they don't make this PDW style one that's got the fancier amplifier and grip. Just have the new fancier G&G stock and then maybe charge slightly more money for this model. I don't know why they don't do that. Yeah. The main reason why I'm wanting to make a little video of this is I tried to find information about this online. And other than people just saying, well, look, here's the box, here's the gun, it has quick change spring, that's about all the information you can find on it. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to pull this motherfucker apart, because no one anywhere has got any information about that. Just hearsay of like here, there, and everywhere about what's inside, what's not inside. Yeah, the only other things that really comes within the box is this forward grip, which is not attached, which is actually polymer. It seems fine. This whole front end eventually is getting changed out to like a stupid long thing and DMR powered and whatnot. You know, you get your 120 round mid cap. Yeah, they work fine. Nothing wrong with them. You get a nice little short uncleaning rod, which is not cool if you work on big barrels, but it's good for the gun you got it for. And this is your tool that you get for you doing a quick change spring. One thing I've already noticed with this system in particular, and it's nothing to do with this system, it's to do with the wiring inside this. Because this is the entry level one, and as far as I can tell from how the trigger is working, this has trigger contacts in it. Now, because it's quick change spring, G&G's old buffer tubes you couldn't fit the Dean's plugs through. So they put a set of connectors here that you unplug, so you can actually run Dean's or even the Tamiya that they normally come with for some stupid reason. And because of that, I think what they've done is they've just reused existing wiring that they have. So this has the connectors in here, which makes it rather difficult. Well, not rather difficult, it makes it a bit more difficult to actually put the spring back in, because you're just trying to not catch the wires in those plugs and wreck your wiring. So one of the things I might do while I've got this apart is just solder those, like get rid of those connectors and just solder it straight across so that we don't have any troubles showing it off to people or whatnot at the field if they want to have a nosy. Yeah. So the other things that I wanted to know about was this front end here. It comes with a fake gas block, but it doesn't have a tube for some reason. The like 2 inches of tube that they would need to make it just like look a lot better would be really, really cool, but they don't. But at least they give you the block. That's a very good point. Pretty much everything is polymer, which is fine. But hey, it does the thing. It does the thing. Oh, it's so nice. And it's got an ambi mag catch on it. It's the only thing ambi on it that I know of. This is really fucking loud, and the spring is rather boingy. Yeah. Oh well, I guess we'll start mucking around with this. So you know, pop that fella there off. They actually rang me up and asked if I wanted the Dean's plug on here, and I told them I didn't care either way, I could change it, but they changed it anyway. So for whatever reason, G&G is still selling new guns with Tamiya plugs on them, which I find a little bit silly. But anyways, you probably don't even need to look down this. You could probably just feel around until you find it. Probably. Let's see if we. Yep, there we go. And now it's in. So we just give it a. Just a little push, and rotate, and you'll feel it come out. And there we go. Looks to be just a plain linear spring with nothing special, nothing fancy at all. This spring guide looks really nice though. It's got some sort of plastic, really hard plastic. Maybe that's a Delrin, I'm not entirely sure. With your nice screw to keep it on there, and it's got the ball bearing on it. So you don't need to swap this out to something with a ball bearing, which is really nice because, you know, if this will be a very specific type, I would assume, to the G&G gearbox that's in there. So not needing to swap that out, or not having the option to swap it out to something with a ball bearing, it's really nice that they have made it with a ball bearing. And here's the that tool if you want to have a little bit better of a look. Actually a really simple idea. Righty ho, I guess we'll separate this upper and see where we get to from there. Oh, that did come out, there we go. It's got the version 2 MIG, M-I-G, whatever you want to call that. I'll put the lower up to the side for now. Have a look at this. Kind of like an absolutely puny barrel. It's funny, but I mean it works. Let's see if we could just get a rough measure on this. A rough measure. The barrel should go to somewhere. That's where the window will be. Should go to somewhere about there. So you're looking 100, 125. We'll just say 125-ish on the barrel length. These things also have a lot of crowning inside them. Like one of the nicest crownings I've ever seen. I don't know where. There's my torch. Can we see it? Yeah, you can see that second ring in there. This thing has like got a taper crowning from like here to basically into where that O-ring is. There's a massive crowning on it. I assume that would help with when the BB exits to try and keep more BBs going in the same place. But, you know, it might not. Another thing I might swap out on this is I just don't like these charging handles. I just don't, aesthetics, you know. Don't really do it for me sometimes, those ones. But one thing I'm also curious about, because I want to lengthen all of this, is what all this actually looks like in here. So if anyone else is curious, here we go. We're going to just pop this sucker off. We're going to take this off. You don't get much else in the box other than basically what's here. You get a QR code for a manual, and you get their poster to sell you more shit. So they're more worried about you looking at the poster going, that gun looks cool, or I didn't know they made that, than to give you information on the actual gun you just bought. QR code, man. Right, so that doesn't come off with the gas block in there, and I already knew that, but I forgot that because I was nosying at it the other night. That's okay. That was one of the other reasons why I went with the PDW. I couldn't tell on the photos online, the generic photos, whether or not the standard length one had a gas block, which if it doesn't, to me makes no sense at all. Why would you sell your regular 7, 8-inch, whatever the other version of the Batto is, without a gas block system on it, just for the looks, you know? But you sell your PDW with a gas block. G&G they're making really cool shit, but like that's just something that feels too obvious to me to miss. So the way that this one lines up is it's just molded into here, which is possibly why they didn't put a piece of aluminium pipe in there, round stock. But there is a little, can we see that? There is a little, where'd my torch go again? Oh, down there this time. I'm throwing shit everywhere. There is a little wee cutout in there. So you could just get a piece of little round bar yourself and line it up with that if you really wanted the looks of having a gas tube system on there, or you could just leave it off. And I'm pretty sure that because of the style this is just going to be one really, yeah, look at that, that wasn't even tight, that's lovely. Yep, just one really simple system. Just a barrel nut and just a nice outer barrel. This is looking absolutely beautiful. I'm pretty sure that this is just one of their standard uppers that they've had for ages, so there's not much point really looking at that. These fibers are really nice, but fibers on a pistol type sights on a rifle are just useless, even with no eye protection on at all. You can't see down them. You have to like hold the gun like way out in front of you, with the stock just being floating in the air to actually use these. But they do look cool. They do look cool, so I'll give them that. They look cool. Oh well, I don't really need this apart no more. So, oh, doesn't that sound lovely? Give that a little snug. Give it a little snug, mate. Just a little snug. Isn't that just really nice? How just how simple that just all slides together. Just like, you're not having to fight anything. A lot of times you have to fight stuff like this. Just look at how beautifully that just all slots together. I'm really liking this. I'm really liking this gun. I'm so glad that I decided to spend my money on this. This is actually my second AEG that I own. I've got my other M4, which is a pretty fast cycling one dual gun. I've got a high capper that I've upgraded quite a bit. I've got a completely stock AAP that I want to make like a sleeper build and leaving the exterior mostly the same other than a couple of red parts, as well as my AAP that I've got a carbine kit for that I've turned into a higher powered rifle. And my idea with those two is that I will run the higher powered one with the pistol, the AAP pistol, and then both guns that I have on me take the same mag. I'll have a set of extender mags and a set of regular mags, so that I can just reach wherever, or if I'm laying on the ground, with the rifle, I can get the shorter ones in. If I'm needing more ammo in the pistol, I can throw the extendeds in the pistol and just swap them around, or vice versa and whatnot. Not have to worry about any of that. It's a really cool combo in my opinion. Yeah, this is only the only other gun I've really I personally owned. Me and my brother got a couple guns that we kind of own together that we just both put money into for friends, family, whatever that want to come and play. Or good shit, that one. The wild turkey map is very wild and it's very turkey. Oh yeah, this is only the second AEG that I actually own. It's very, very nice. Very nice. I haven't actually ever had one of these gearboxes apart, and the only videos I can find on these gearboxes online are the 3D renders that I think G&G themselves put out, so I don't even know how to take this thing apart yet. I mean, I know how to take it apart, but I've never seen it, I've never done it with this specific bloody one, so we're gonna find this out together. This base plate actually looks like the same base plate off of their last grip made. And I'm seeing orange, and how snappy it was even on a 7.4. I sort of figured that this was the eye for it. I actually found it really silly because on the ASGC's website that I bought this off, there was, down in the description, it said that it came with G&G's iFrit motor, their orange motor. And then the very next point below that said that depending on the region that the gun is in, that the lower speed 18k motor might be fitted instead for power, for velocity reasons. So so some countries apparently think that because your motor is fast, you will have more velocity, which is very, very not true. That is not how that works. Whoever decided that was a thing. The only thing a faster motor will do is if it's too fast, you could get taper plate PME, and that will actually reduce your powers. In that situation, you could just go down in size or speed of motor and be a lot better off. But I don't know why. I really don't know why that was on there. And I was just like, oh, I really hope they've got the iFrit motor in there, because I don't want to, like, you know, be told that everyone else gets it, but our country just doesn't get it, and we just have to get stuck with a generic base level motor again. So I'm so glad they've got that. That's going to go into that stubby gun that we built, because that one's motor is not the best. It's pretty cooked, because I built it out of other motors and it didn't really work as well as I was hoping, that motor in particular. So that's going to go into that gun, and that will be a really cool spear gun. Whoever comes to play with us at the field. That is being a bugger to get out. Come on, you. Be nice. Oh yes, this has the problem. This has a problem, and it has a problem that I also noticed on the other form of the G&G grip. I shall go and get a grip. I'm sure there was one just chilling here. Ah. This is the other grip that G&G make that also have this same problem. So you can see this wire here is actually already damaged. It's been crushed. The reason why these get crushed is in these grips, they're too tight at the top where the wires route around. I don't know if I can fix that necessarily with a regular motor, but with a brushless motor, I've done it on a Warhead and I've done it on a T2 386, is you get a file and you file this off. I'm talking like you're making that surface at like a 45, you know, 1990, so 45 in between, and you want to make that surface about 5-6 mil, and then there's heaps of room for the wires to just sit around. But otherwise, if you don't do that and you use these, you will crush the shit out of these wires. So I'm going to have to actually do something about that. Maybe this is too far up. That could be it. It might need adjusting. I don't know what it looks like just yet. Anyways, I have no idea what's going on with this. I've seen a couple of pictures online of this gearbox. I've never been in it, and then there's no good videos on it. But I believe that this is something to do with routing wires in a way that it protects them and it can't get to the bevel gear, or that can't have the motor chew them up. So yeah, we will find out more about that. This is actually a screw-in type, so there's a thread, I guess, in this plastic. I guess we'll take off the selector next. But that means that because this is all quick change, you don't have to take any of your buffer tube stuff off, is what I was trying to get at. So we just take that fella off and we'll put them over there into the tray of bits. Pretty simple. G&G love to logo everything. I don't mind. I don't really care too much about trades and whatnot, but I mean, G&G as a company, if they want to trademark all of their stuff, I don't care if they trademark their own stuff with their own logo. Pretty standard looking pins. Just trying to stick to the bloody eye for it because it's a badass motor. Now the question is how hard is this going to be to get out of the shell? That's the other thing. I don't know how this works on these. So I guess I'm going to figure that out now. Oh, and I've popped a spring. Right, I have to take that off. That's what's going on. I haven't actually ever pulled one of these types apart before. So I have to take that off, and there was a little wee spring I seen that was no longer in the housing. So I'm going to find where that little wee spring went. Hey, there we go. Just needed some more negotiating. There's that little wee spring. It's got grease on it, luckily. Just slide that on out of there. Oh, and I just noticed another problem with the wiring. And this will be when I first went to do the quick change on this thing. And I think I just found out why they put those plugs there. So, first before I do that, I will move that spring so I do not lose it. That spring can go in my tray. Along with that fella, the spring looks like he just sits in the... that there... that is a polymer part. So I would be careful to not smash the living crap out of that too hard, because you possibly could break that, and that wouldn't be very cool. But I see why they've gone with these plugs. But here we go. I was trying to say before about the catch on there. It's actually when I put that back in the first time, caught the insulation, the heat shrink, and pushed it a bunch. That's okay. I'll do something about this wiring before it goes back together. Well, I found out why they do that now. Because the fuse that they use doesn't fit through the damn thing. Why would you use that fuse in that case? Why not use a different fuse? I don't know. This buffer tube doesn't actually sit up against the back of this gearbox. There's a tiny little space, which I'm not entirely sure that's a great idea or not, but that's just how that is. Just a simple nut come off, this back, rotate. Pretty simple. I have no idea if this is mil spec or not mil spec, because I just don't know. Personally, I don't know. There's your nice receiver. And all of this is, all your trigger guard stuff is part of the lower. Beautiful. One of the first things I noticed the other day when I took the upper off, the screws are not on the side of the gearbox. They're on this side of the gearbox. They have steel bushings. I wonder how hard that steel is. I really want to put a file to like the back of one of these bushings if they pop out easily, because I really want to know. I do really want to know how hard those are. Huh. So the way that works is it literally just pushes on that catch. So that's quite simple. It's just a straight through part. I hope this doesn't wear down over time, because that would make me sad. I don't think... do we have to take this off? Do we have to take this off? I'm not sure. It's probably easier to take this off to just mess with it all. Otherwise you'd have to have that back here. Does that come out? No, it's on a spring inside there. Oh well, I'm just going to start pulling stuff apart, I guess, because I'm not entirely sure how that's all together yet. Start with this little wee screw and spring, which has more tension on it than I thought it would have on it. That's okay. I'm sure if those guys at ASGC saw me doing this, they'll be like, well, no warranty for you, sir. Thing is those guys at ASGC are pretty shit to start with, and they don't give you bloody warranties even if you had the entire existence of your gun on video forever. Like you just left the webcam just on it the entire time. They would just pretty much not honour anything as far as I have heard from other people. But, oh well. Right. Can that just come out? Yes, it can just come out. I don't know if this is a full cylinder or not. I guess I'm going to find that out at some point in the very near future. Drop that in there, We can rotate this. Nope, it's not a full cylinder. It is just the standard cylinder with the nice port over there. It looks like you have to take off this plastic guard, and that's actually just like a metal casing as well, this lower part of the gearbox. That's going to make it really cool to shim, I think, because you should be able to still put a screw through unless the threads are in here. Just to see anyway, it should be pretty damn good. The only part I don't know about right now is this part. Do you have to take this apart to do that? There's a spring going through there. I think you have to take this apart. So you might have been able to leave the mock bolt on there, but you might have to take this piece apart that it catches on. I'm just going to very carefully unscrew that screw. And there is spring tension on this too, so... Ooh, there we go. It's always lovely pulling things apart that you don't know how they come apart. Right, so the spring sits inside this half and sits in there. This piece pulls through, so you do have to undo that to get this gearbox casing apart, because it does not fit through there or fit through there. There's definitely something you have to undo on this. This feels to all be polymer as well, so I would be very careful tightening this screw back down, that you do not strip it out. Wind it backwards till you feel it drop in, then go forward. Other than that, it looks like we're almost ready to take this thing apart some more. Split the bloody case open. We shall find a little screwdriver. I'm going to pop this little spring out of here and try not to send it flying. Actually, a better tool than that. I don't know where my angled one is, but there's a more of a pokey type one. If you can catch it sometimes, then you can send it up it. And this one's being a pain. Why are you being a pain? Oh yeah, there we go. If you can scoop it on the very first one, it'll shoot up onto the rod so that it doesn't go ping across the room, because that's annoying when it goes ping across the room. I'm going to put this one over here this time, over here, and use that for trigger stuff because I've got all that stuff over there. There's two tiny little Allen keys that hold this little fella on. Hey, look at that. You can come off of there. They're a lot longer than I thought they would be. That's very interesting looking. This is going to make wiring in all wiring is going to be way different all day. That's changing the wiring game, this gearbox. Jeez, the size of wire you could put through here is insane. Holy. I reckon I'm going to take this off and then try and trip the gears to go back. Grab this screwdriver. This is a, well, that screw is loose. Alright, so we still have gearbox screws loose. That's pretty loose as well. It's okay, it's not the end of the world. You don't want to just lift through there nicely. The size of the hole, the black bit of the gearbox casing that comes off is just a little bit on the small side. No, there's a thread in it. That's different again. There's so much different stuff going on with this gearbox. There's threads in these two holes, as well as these two. So, but they're like the wrong size. So you can just pull them through. That's odd. That's very odd. G&G, you do some cool stuff, but you do some odd stuff as well. I'll put that in there. This shouldn't do much because there's no spring in it. Yeah, it's not doing much because there's no spring, but I want to still get that to go forward. I might just use the actual tool and do this because I want to check, before I pull this apart anymore, I want to check their shimming. See if their shimming's any good. So you pull the anti-reversal latch back. There is no hole to see the anti-reversal latch. I think that's, you know what, if anything, the tappet plate spring feels stronger than the old tappet plate springs. That's interesting. The bushings are slightly loose and not glued in. However, the bevel gear is very well shimmed, very well shimmed. I can't even move the spur gear, so there's a possibility the spur gear is way too tight. There's a hole in the back half of the casing here, and none on the front half, so on the back half here where you can actually see your angle of engagement, your AOE, so I'm using that to, there is movement on the sector gear. I think that spur gear is shimmed to the point where it is too tight actually. This is his home. I'll be back. Rightio, back again for more tearing stuff apart. I'm actually glad that this has the steel bushings in it too, because for whatever reason ASGC's website says that this comes with bearings, and for the build that I'm doing I don't want bearings because I don't trust them above a certain spring tension that I'm going to be putting into this. Anyway, that's that said. So now the best part, we can just fuck this. Wow, okay, it wasn't even stuck on one side, so I could just make it look like I was never even in here. G&G, these things are just silly. You don't need warranty stickers, alright? You just need to open the gearbox and be like, okay, this part is fucked. How did it get fucked? Oh, you were in here and you fucked with it because I can tell because you did this? Right, no warranty then. That's how it should all be. But, you know, if you pull it apart and go, oh, that blew itself to bits, and we can tell that it blew itself to bits, here you go, here's a new one. You know, here's a new part for your new one. But whatever, I digress, it's fine. This actually has one more screw than the old gearboxes used to have, because of that new piece that goes on the bottom of your gearbox there. Let's one extra piece with it. I'm gonna assume that it's just gonna make shimming a little bit more of a pain in the bum, but whatever. Just an extra piece to go on and off. Righty-ho, with all the screws out and no spring tension from your mainspring, you should be able to relatively just pop that up. Yeah, see, look at the bloody bushings are not glued in, and they are some interesting looking bushings. Whoa, they've got a channel to retain lubricant. That is interesting. And from about here on in, it's looking quite standard. And now that I've got that spring there, that is definitely just a standard spring. It is not stronger. I am just being a weird fella apparently. And pop that back up there, just check on that. Looks like it's going fine. I'll have a nice little sippy sip. Yeah man, you gotta stay hydrated, you gotta stay hydrated. You definitely do. Little shot pop that up out of there. The radiusing job from the factory on these shells are so much nicer than the last set. They're not jagged or rough or anything. There's like there's no bird casting edges. So far this thing is looking rather nice. I don't know why these bushings are sitting at different heights inside this gearbox. That is an interesting thing. Is that hard to tell? There might be channels. Yeah, I think there is channels on the inside edge of these bushings. So these bushings are most likely 100 times better than their oilers. However, with those channels on the inside, it lets it retain lubricant and grease, but it wears on the axles of your gears. So they've gone a step in the right direction. They just haven't taken a full stride in that direction. They've replaced a problematic part that like shows its head in about a year or so of gameplay, probably with a problematic part that'll show its head in 2 years of gameplay, maybe 3. What is going on there? That looks very different to my eye right now. Hold on. Hold on just a gosh darn second. This motherfucker is short stroked by 3 teeth. This is short stroked by 3 whole teeth. Is there a reason? Or is it this is a brand new spear. Brand new spear. There's less teeth. I don't think there's less teeth on the sector. That looks like a standard reversal latch of theirs. It's a short stroke. It's a short stroke sector. Mrs. is coming. I'll be back. Yeah. So that is very, very interesting. Where is in here? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It's missing 3 teeth. Did they do it a clean way? Or did they do it a shitty way? It used to have 3 teeth on it. I can see here. Can the camera see? Well, we need some light for this situation. You can see there used to be another 3 teeth there. And they've machined them off and then probably used a bluing bluing type agent on it, which is an oxidizing layer that protects them. That is why they look that color. I would assume that's what that is. There is no sources online anywhere that I could find that tells you that this is a short-stroked gun from factory. It looks to be still 18-1, so that's fine. Nothing wrong with that, but that is very interesting. I definitely have to change this piston for what I'm going to do. And this gear now. So this gun is actually probably going to end up getting that gear in it, because I need full volume for what I'm doing with this one day. I wonder if the that's all standard. That's all standard. I wonder if the 7-inch or whatever inch version of this gun has a short stroke piston in it. That is very interesting. That looks like a standard bevel. Doesn't seem to be anything wrong with that. I've shot this. How much have I put through this? I'm trying to think now. Maybe like 500 rounds so far, just mucking around, like dry fire out the backyard. It's probably, probably about 500 rounds. So if you're going to see something, you'd start to see a little bit of wear now, but I don't see any wear right now, so that's good. Oh, look at that. That is an interesting looking gear. That is a very different gear. Quality assurance over 10,000 cycles. SCM 415 steel. I don't know what that actually means in terms of how hard that is or what it is, but SCM 415 steel. Yes, that is a very different looking gear. So the possibility of me keeping that as well is, I don't know. Because I do know that the standard G&G gear that's like more of a one-piece type design generally doesn't fail, but I don't know. I might have to see if I can find some more information on that one. On that one in particular. I'm going to get out the rest of my trigger bits and wiring. The channels for this wiring is just insane. Like, the wires will not move with how these channels are all set up. They just can't. The edge of this post over here that used to have the little piece that would stick out from about there down that way on the casting is no longer there on the casting. I have had one of our rental guns at the field where the sector gear would come around and was actually touching that piece of casting, so I file them all off now whenever I see them. So this newer design doesn't have that, which is a very good thing. Okay, what is that? Just there's a tiny little stray burr of steel inside this gearbox. Lovely to see. Just this standard tappet plate looking thing there. Is there? I don't think there's a ball bearing in there. I don't think there's a ball bearing in there. There still could be. I might even pull that off later and have a nosy and see if there is. But that's all getting, that piston assembly is all going to be getting swapped out eventually now because I know that it's short stroked. I want to get the rest of this out and check the actual shimming again, because something about this is telling me that sector gear is way too tight. I want a little screwdriver. I'm going to take this fella out. I'm probably going to end up re-shimming this whole thing anyway, just so that I don't wear anything out on it when I go to use it for a bunch before I do my silly upgrades to it. It might be a little while until I get to do my silly upgrades on it, because I have used all of my spending money to buy the gun to do the silly upgrades. That's okay. Right, this wiring going to kind of fish it on out of that hooked up area. That's fine. I don't mind that at all. I actually prefer gearboxes sometimes that try to go in the route of putting channels in to protect your wiring, because it just makes everything sit in spots that will make your life easier by not getting in places where it'll just get self-destructed. Well, there we go. There's another what appears to be steel burr in here. Like, that's a significant burr. Like, that could end parts in your gun. That's not a good sign. I don't know where that's come from. It was just sitting on here, but there's no way it's come off of there, has it? It doesn't know. No, it hasn't come off of the gear. I think it's just a burr that's got inside this box in the assembly or production somewhere. I'll keep an eye out on the rest of these gears to see if I see anything, but I mean, I'm not seeing anything. I don't know what's going on there. G&G, ooh, yeah, they're not the perfect size. G&G, watch your, can I break this to take it off? Watch out for your burrs when you're assembling stuff, if any of you fellas see this. That's not a particularly good sign. Come on. Come on. I'll modify that later to make it easier to do. Uh-oh. Got multiple falling off. Yeah, these bushings are really interesting. I'll clean up this one quickly. I find my rag. I'll just clean this up rather quickly. Oh, there's a shim on there. Put the shim back on there because I want to check to see what the shimming was actually like, because that gear seems like it's way too tight right now. Feeling a little bit more quiet today than usual myself. It's probably just a little bit tired from having a bloody crazy weekend, buddy. Kids and people and all over the show. Oh, I have to go to bloody work tomorrow too. Sucks. Bloody work. Why can't I just work on airsoft all day? Yeah, so there is definitely channels. I don't know if this phone is going to pick this up. I really don't know. If I put my torch here. Oh yeah, it's going to pick that up. So you can see my torch is flickering. Lovely. There is a channel here on the inside edge of that I guess is meant to keep grease against it, which is going to lubricate your shims. I mean, it doesn't seem that intelligent. It's gone to the great abyss. On the inside edge, I don't know if it's going to pick it up. Oh, you can kind of see it. There's tiny ridges inside there. So I think that's probably going to cause you problems over time. And I think I might actually swap them out. I don't have a great way of testing hardness of things, but oh, that is really hard. Oh, that is skating over it. It is cutting it, but my golly, it's a tiny little cut. That is a hard bushing. They've got the right material. I just wish that the core of that, or where the axle goes through, didn't have ridges in it. because I guarantee you that that's harder than your gears. And yeah, you can already see wear starting on these axles. Right now it's just kind of coloring it, but you know, 500 cycles and you're already getting wear on your axles. How long until that's not superficial? You know, maybe there's a reason why this says it was good up to, where is it, 10,000. You know, maybe there's a reason why that says up to 10,000, because maybe after 10,000 it chews them out to a point where they start doing silly stuff. I don't know. You'd hope not, you really would, but I digress right now. Yeah, for whatever reason, the spur gears bushings are sitting way higher up in this shell than the sector and the bevel. That might have something to do as well as why it seems like it's quite tight. We don't have to flip this shell over to put the screws in. It's lovely. Yeah, so to get your clamping force on this lower area, you definitely have to put the this fella here back on, it looks like. I am going to put that one in that one. I normally put a screw there, and we'll see where we get to from there. It'll be slightly harder to check this with grease on it. Because the grease may cause false or inaccurate readings. But it should be okay to check them. Yeah, the bevel gear's about what it was before. Yeah, 100%. That's tight. That's tight. So the spur gear is 100% way too tight. That is rough. I am so glad I pulled this apart. That gear has got, it can spin, but it's got no play in it at all. So that needs re-shimming. There's no two ways about it. That needs re-shimming, and it needs re-shimming bad. That's gonna cause you some problems as time goes on. And that was without even having the gearbox pinched over here either, so it could be even tighter if I put the rest of the parts back on. That's okay. We shall fix it. We shall fix it. So there's some really cool stuff about this and some not really cool stuff about this. I was super excited that they're finally getting rid of those oilers, but they got rid of them in a way that you kind of still need to get rid of them. I don't know. You just can't win sometimes. That's what this is for. Yeah, oh well. It's a very, very nice buffer tube. Very nice buffer tube. I do like the finish on it. And hopefully I don't wreck these, because I want a tan gun with black accessories. So these are going to have to get painted tan at some point. So I'm not too bad at painting, but I hope I don't fuck nothing up, you know? Now, is there a reason? No, not really. So it's not like their old casings. This is an interesting gearbox. This might actually prove to be difficult to shim in some situations. However, I also have a guess as to... Gee, that one's a bit snug compared to the others. There we go. This is why the sector gears, sorry, not the sector gear, I keep getting them backwards tonight. The spur gear sits higher because these are cut down into the shell, and this one is actually sitting proud. That could be because of the... actually, this is also lower. I wonder if you can shim the bevel gear higher up. But I keep finding with most guns that I do, so I haven't done a shitload of guns. I've done quite a vast amount now, but not like a shitload. But I keep finding that all my bevel gears have to be shimmed really high to not fuck with the motor at all. And because of that, to get enough mesh between the bevel and the spur, you have to shim the spur up a bit. And I'm starting to think that maybe the reason why G&G have done this in this shell, where they've made these lower and this higher, is so that you can use less shims. So if you use things like bearings, then there's more of the axle in the bearing to not put more of like a torque action on the center of the bearing when it's just working, or if it ever gets under load or stress. So that could be a thing. That, do I know for sure? Absolutely not. It could just be some other completely different idea or design or whatever they've done. But yeah, I think, unfortunately, even though I was really excited about the bushings that came in with this gun, I think I'm going to swap them to some other generic just bushings I got off AliExpress that are actually quite nice in our rental guns. So, oh well, we'll put them in, I'll reshim that. The only other thing I really want to do is I want to make sure that this here actually, where does that even sit? Huh, it just sits there, very good. I want to see if this goes all the way back. Yeah, it goes all the way back. I wouldn't think that they'd have anything shorter going on inside here. That would have been really, really silly. So if I were to get... where'd I put them all? I went and lost them again. We'll get that fella, we'll get that fella. I'll sit him there. Oh look, there's the piston. Standard size. Gonna pick up, it's gonna come back. Yeah man, no problem. It fits the standard one in there. Honestly, if that was a problem, I would have probably cried, because that would be really silly that you have to run a short stroke set. This spring looks slightly shorter than... yeah, it is slightly shorter. That's the standard spring that came out on one of my brother's G&G guns a long while ago. I'm tempted to change that. Oh, Jesus. Holy. That's got to be at least a... that might even be a 130. What the crap? That thing is insane. That is one hell of a spring. By golly. By golly, these people, what have they done? I mean, that's probably not to be expected, because on my chrono, this 125-ish mil barrel on 0.3 gram BBs with the hop set was getting 1.09 joules, which is like 280 FPS, which is friggin' insane. So I actually think that that's a 130 spring, a slightly short 130. That is nuts. That motor must be crazy. I haven't actually worked with one of these motors before, but this thing is so snappy compared to like their other ones. So that must just pull that no problem. Good to know. This thing is full of surprises. Oh well, I think that's about it for the disassembly for what I wanted to really know about and check. I don't really think there's much else. So I shall tutu with this a little bit and get it all running all nicely and put it back together. I might make a how to shim video, I might not, I don't know yet. I'll see how I feel. Yeah, I think if I can leave that there for now. If you want to know how to reassemble it, and you just play the video backwards. I don't fucking care. If you pulled it apart and can't put it together, that's a you problem. Oh well, fucking sick, man. Fucking see you later.